Welcome back. In the first episode, we talked about squares. The next episode, we talked about triangles. In the third episode, we spoke about spheres. One has 4 corners, one has 3 corners, one has no corners. We went down. We're trying to get it smoother. 3D square, cube. 3D triangle, pyramid, or cone. 3D circle, sphere. Alright? Then in those 3 episodes, we talked about light and shadow. If there's light here, shadow on this side. If light is on this side, shadow's on this side. Very basic. We're going to keep things simple. Keep the light and the shadows away from each other, right? Light over here, shadow over here. This episode, what can we do by putting all these things together? Can we take squares, triangles, and circles and use them, combine them to make a more complicated thing, right? Like how we showed in the other episode, we put a triangle and a circle together, we made an ice cream cone, or we made a guy with a hat on. Remember that? He had a hat. So that's the concept. Can we put shapes together to make something more complicated? We're also going to focus on not making it pretty. The lines will be rough. The drawing might not look that good, but that's okay. We're not worried about it looking good. What we want to do is, can we make something? All right, we're going to try to sketch it out. We're just going to put some shapes together, throw some shapes around, and see what sticks. All right, so let's go. Alrighty. So like I said earlier, we talked about squares, triangles, and circles. So, just to recap, squares, and again, don't worry about the lines looking pretty. That'll come later. But you can still tell that's a square, even though the lines are all sketchy, right? Sketchy is a big deal. Triangles. And circles. Right? What can we do with those? Let's draw a cup. Sure, why not? So, let's say we wanted to draw a cup. We can kind of use a square, but what we're going to do is build a cylinder. A cylinder. And for those that don't know what cylinders are, it's when you have a circle stretched out one way, right? So it's not a sphere. It's called the cylinder. Because if you look at it from this way, it'll look like this. It'll look like a circle, but once you turn it, you'll see that it's stretched out. That's called the cylinder. So let's take that cylinder and let's rotate it, right? So let's do this. Stretch it out and put a curvy bottom. The same curve that's here, we're going to put it here. right? Now, what if we take that cylinder and take these 2 points and mush them closer together, right? I mean, this is kind of a cup already, but let's take that cylinder, right? And move these closer together. And then do the same round at the bottom. And now we have a cup, right? Throw some water in there. We have a cup. Just like that. So from the circle, right? From this circle here, we turned it into a cylinder. Then we stood the cylinder up. And then we mushed the bottom. And now we have a cup. Pretty easy, right? All from a shape. One shape. Okay. So let's go ahead and erase all of this because we don't need it. So that is a cylinder. You know what? Let's leave it. Why not? Let's leave it there. Let's try to put together. We've already done a house, right? And that's just a triangle on top and a square at the bottom. Easy peasy. Oh, I'm in front of it. All right, hold on 1 second. Let's go ahead and move that. There we go. All right, right? We just have a triangle. Oh, sorry. Just have a triangle on top, square at the bottom. House. Easy peasy. We did an ice cream cone. Circle on top, triangle at the bottom. Ice cream cone. We did a kid with a hat, or a guy with a hat, right? A pointy hat, like an elf. Circle on top, or sorry, circle on bottom, triangle on top. What else can we do? You know what? Let's take this ice cream cone and can we make a person? Why not? So let's take a circle, put a triangle. Maybe we put another triangle. Put little circles on the corners of the triangle. Make a stick, make a stick, make a stick, make a stick. Maybe we put some squares for feet. Or rectangles, right? And maybe circles for hands. And then from here you could do fingers. Put a little happy face on it. Whip. Person. I mean, you know, good enough. It gets the idea, right? It gets the idea that there's a person out of shapes, right? What else? Let's try something a little bit more advanced, right? Let's just say we wanted to draw something with only circles. And let's do a teddy bear. Or some kind of, yeah, like a teddy bear. All right, so let's say we have, uh, you know what, let's make this a little bit more see-through. So we can still kind of see the shapes that we're working with, right? So let's do a circle for the head and circles for the ears and a circle for the face, a circle for the nose, 2 circles for the eyes. Then let's do a circle for the body. Let's do a circle for this hand, and some circles, like ovals, you know. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. For the legs. Is that a teddy bear? You see that? All we did was take a circle and put a bunch of them, and we made a teddy bear. Right? This is very, very basic. These are just the plain old examples. You know, like play around with it. Play around with some squares. Play around with some triangles. And play around with some circles. And see what you can come up with. Put it together. Right? Let's say my face. My face is a rectangle. So let's do a rectangle. A TV, right? Let's put some circles on the corners because the rectangle is not sharp. My head is not sharp. See, it's kind of round on the corners. Let's do another rectangle here. Don't worry about it being pretty. Just kind of get it in the area. And we'll make that one a little bit round too. And I have 2 knobs. And 2 little buttons. Huh? Huh? Now, I'm making it see-through. But if you're on just a sheet of paper with a pencil, you're going to draw lightly. All right, you're not going to press that hard on the pencil. You're going to draw very lightly. And this is kind of me drawing lightly, but because I'm on a computer with a program that I'm pretty sure is free on your tablet, cell phone, anything like that. I don't know if it's free on computer, on Windows or Mac, but I know it's free on tablets and iPads and all of that, right? I'm making it lighter just to show that I'm drawing lightly, right? So pretend I drew lightly on a sheet of paper. So that's supposed to be me, right? Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit on this, on my head, right? So now I'm going to draw, I'm going to press harder with my pencil, right? So pretend I'm pressing harder with my pencil, just a little bit harder. So very, very, very lightly, I made this shape here, right? Now I'm pressing a little bit harder and not worrying too much about the lines, but I am trying to make them a little better than my sketch, right? The first one was like, it's okay if it's really, really messy. This one, you're going to try to make it just a little bit nicer, right? Follow those lines that you made. Same thing here. Follow the lines that you made. Make them round, right? Come on in over here. Put my knobs. It's already looking better, right? 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 Look at that. Look at that. Very handsome. Now I remember, pretend, right? Pretend I drew lightly with my pencil. And then I drew lightly, but a little bit harder with my pencil to make it look like this. So now I'm going to do the drawing with my pencil, right? Because now I pretty much got it. Now it looks like it, right? So now we're just going to press even harder to make sure we get the perfect clean lines. All right. Bam. Huh? We just used some squares and some circles, right? We took squares and circles, made a square, put little circles on the edges just to get an idea of the roundness part, right? The roundness of the corners, right? And then we went back and made it all pretty. But the point is, we used shapes to get to this. Just some regular shapes, squares, circles, triangles. And in this case, we used squares and circles. All right. So play around with it and see what you can make. All right, guys. That's pretty much it for today. As you saw, practice your squares, practice your circles, practice your triangles, practice all of it. Because next video, we're going to be talking about how to sketch. So for those that don't know, uh, the first thing you do in drawing, especially if you're just starting to draw, is called a sketch. That's where you take a pencil, a paper, and you lightly draw on it. And it doesn't matter how messy it is, it's fine. It doesn't matter how bad it looks. A sketch is not supposed to look that good, right? It's not your final clean lines. It's just a sketch. And that's, So stay tuned. Next video, sketches and ugly lines. We're going to call them ugly lines because they're going to be kind of ugly. And that's okay. It's perfectly okay. We want them to be kind of ugly because it's not important how they look. All right. So next episode, ugly lines. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Do all the good stuff that YouTube wants you to do. Like subscribe and all that. All right. Have a good one.